histórie Newcastle Eagles a Dziki Warszawa. Poďme sa pozrieť v prvom rade na to, čo nám povedali aktéri z oboch táborov. Začneme najprv zástupcom Newcastle Eagles, Willom Neighborom.
Pri mikrofóne už hráč Newcastle, Will Neighbor. Will, how would you rate this season performances with the team?
Yeah, I think we've done really good. I mean, it's like the first time a British team has got to the Final Four. So obviously last year we missed out by one game, but we're happy to be here now.
You already played with Dziki Warszawa this season. You won by 9 points. What positives do you want to take from that game to today?
They're a different team than what they were, but we always focus about what we can do. So as long as we control what we can control, I think we'll get the outcome we need.
I think the main goal is to win it all, right?
Of course, yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Takže Will Neighbor sa nechal počuť, že je rád, že je po prvýkrát britský tím vo Final Four. Tie výsledky v sezóne síce nie sú ideálne, ale určite má veľkú radosť, že Newcastle sa dostal takto ďaleko. No a hral už takisto aj vzájomný zápas so súperom z Dziki Warszawa, ale na tú otázku Will Neighbor spomenul, že v súčasnosti je to úplne iný tím a nemožno očakávať rovnaký zápas. Predtým Newcastle zdolal Dziki Warszawa 79-70. No a na záver otázka, aký je cieľ, tak tam Will Neighbor odpovedal jasne a síce celý turnaj vyhrať.
Good evening,
teda
good afternoon, and good morning
Eagles. No a pozrime
here
sa aj
from
na
Slovakia.
zostavu tohto tímu.
From the Go Pass Arena,
britský reprezentačný tréner Mark
from the capital, Bratislava.
Jednotku
you see it there on your screen, the Newcastle Eagles starting lineup for tonight. And boy, I had to catch my breath. If you were tuned in to Game 1, wow, what a matchup we had. As CSO Voluntari was able to book their tickets to the finals tomorrow with a 107-103 victory over the hosts Bratislava, and that game came down to the final buzzer. Well, I mentioned that it would be fireworks in that one, but this game, a completely different narrative. You got two teams from Group A who played each other earlier in the season. Newcastle Eagles was able to strike first in Poland, winning 79-70.
Hero of the game against Bamberg. Can we go back in time and tell me how did you pull off something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we needed a last-second miracle, and when the ball came to me, I just took the shot, and it worked out for us.
Can you maybe tell me what this Final Four means for your team?
It means a lot. You know, we have a chance to do something special, and trust the work that we put in together as a team and as a coaching staff, and yeah, we're here to win it all.
What about tonight's opponent? What things do you have to make right to get past them to the final?
Not focus so much on our opponent, but focus on what we can do, and that's playing with maximum energy and effort. We can't let Newcastle outplay us, and I think if we just stick to those key things, then I think that we'll have the result that we want.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, there was the hero out in Germany as they were able to win that game in an aggregate matchup. They're winning game 1 by 21 points, but then losing game 2 by 19. And that man of the hour, Kromithia, was able to hit that game winner with 0.8 seconds on the clock. And then you heard it in the interview there, said he wasn't worried so much about the opponent, more focused on themselves. And as I mentioned earlier, both of these teams facing off back in November when Newcastle was able to pull off with the victory, but the Dziki Warszawa team is completely different since then.
Wesson, ten má 55, Komitier má 2 a pod košom 1 Anderson a 15 Bartoš.
There goes your starting 5 for Warszawa. A team that is very deep, experienced with a lot of size. Newcastle Eagles, on the other hand, very explosive. So the contrast in styles will be really interesting to dial into here tonight. There goes your referees for the evening. Marius Chulin from Romania, Serafim Petrov from Bulgaria, and Peter Zinis from Slovakia.
Marius Chulin z Rumunska a Serafim Petrov z Bulharska mu takisto budú pomáhať. No a pri videu je Marek Volskis z Lotyšska. Takže máme predstavených všetkých aktérov dnešného zápasu. Veríme, že to bude podobne vyrovnané ako v tom prvom prípade. Poďme si v rýchlosti.
Well, if you're just joining us for the European Northern Basketball League, is breaking into 18 teams, broken up into two groups, Group A, Group B.
Dziki Warszawa bola tretia v rovnakej skupine s bilanciou 6 víťazstiev.
Each team playing round-robin style, one game against an opponent, and then we take the top 4 teams from each group and cross-match them. And that's how we get here. The Newcastle Eagles were able to take care of the Bakken Bears on a come-from-behind victory at home to punch their ticket to the Final Four, while Dziki was able to take care of the Germans. But which one of these teams will be matched up with CSO Voluntari for tomorrow night's grand final? We do have a 3rd and 4th place game play for you right before 5:30 local time, while the championship game tips off at 8:30.
Mimochodom, už teraz je jasné, že sa po prvýkrát v histórii tejto súťaže nebude radovať z víťazstva domáci tím.
There goes your head coach. For the Poland team, and then Mark Studel leads the hand for the Newcastle Eagles. It all comes down to this. Been a great build-up to the Final Four on the socials. Both teams really digging into the scouting report over the last couple days. But all of that, you can throw that out the window. It's all about right now and right here. 40 minutes settled on the court.
Newcastle ten je vo Veľkej Británii aktuálne 6. až z 9 účastníkov s bilanciou 11 víťazstiev, 14 prehier.
Darius Defoe there, the most decorated player in British basketball history, 28 titles to his name. And while you look at the experience of Dziki, he out-experiences them all. The tender age of 40 years old and still getting it done at a high level. Well, let the games begin. In the men in red, Dziki versus the Newcastle Eagles, who's in the white stripe with the black trim. Wesson, great defense there by Akaru. Over to Anderson, who didn't play in game 1. Eagles nearly loses it there. Ball ends up in Mike Akaru's hand, leading scorer for the Newcastle Eagles in the ENBL competition. And he gets downhill to start the party, and you see why as he's pushed from behind. Mike Akaru with the blazing first step, 26-year-old out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Averaging 14 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 2 assists a game in the European Northern Basketball League. And the Newcastle Eagles able to strike first. Radicevic over to Wesson. Bartosz down inside. Look for this all evening long as they try to go to Wesson for the mismatches, and Bartosz able to draw the foul on Darius Defoe. You see just a left hand there from Darius Defoe as he reaches down.
Dziki Warszawa. Mimochodom, v tejto súťaži je najlepším strelcom poľského tímu Nikola Radičevič s priemerom takmer 13 bodov na zápas, ale až 6 asistencií na jedno stretnutie. Tvorca hry, ten má číslo 31 v červenom drese, určite si ho budeme pozorne všímať. No ale aj ďalší legionári v drese poľského tímu.
And the big fella misses both.
Spomínaný Švéd Anderson, alebo Američania, či estonský reprezentant USR.
Josh Ward-Hibbert. Seneca Knight, second leading scorer for the Newcastle Eagles. Can't complete the step back. Dziki, the experienced point guard, Radicevic, tosses it away. You don't see that too often from the experienced point guard. A late addition to the Dziki squad. Micah Caro over the Defoe. Ward-Hibbert coming off a double stagger and able to finish it with the left hand. Nice finish as the Eagles go up 4-0. Kromithier, great ball movement from Dziki. Wesson hits the front rim. Eagles off to the races. Defoe, normally reliable from that mid-range spot, unable to capitalize on that possession. Anderson with great position as Wesson blows the layup, and Micah Caro decides to slow things down. Ward-Hibbert comes empty-handed from beyond the arc, and so far Dziki have gone nearly 3 minutes without a score. Again, Eagles played this team earlier in the season, a much different roster from what we've seen back there in November, as they replaced their point guard and center, along with sprinkle in Kromithier, who just arrived not so long ago. Allen Aikens left wide open at the top of the key. And Eagles getting great looks. Just unable to capitalize. And again, a second turnover by Dziki, as Wesson miscalculated that pass. And one thing to take away from game one is the game was very physical. The referees allowed the players to settle the score on the court, and so far it looks to be the same. And I say that as there's an off-ball foul on Dziki.
Na lavičke Newcastle sa ujal v roku 2022. Odtedy nepretržite pôsobí
Akaru.
pri kormidle Eagles.
Seneca Knight trying to get in the crease of Dziki's defense, gets bottled up, steps around, flips it behind his head and unable to finish. Eagles have gone cold, but fortunately from them, their defense is standing up so far in this game. And Dziki just coming out a little bit slow offensively. Again, a team that profile is more half court. And likes to dial into their sets, and it seems like so far Newcastle has really dialed in as Anderson is able to get the party started for Dziki. And excuse us if you hear the native language underneath us. We'll try to get that technical difficulty sorted for you. And again, Bartus nearly turns it over, but Yoasar able to pick up the loose change, and we're tied. And Alan Aikens answers right back.
Alan Aikens doniesol loptu do koša. A konečne sa nám to trochu rozbíja.
Komitier attacks the rim and he's fouled.
Spomínal som, že Newcastle vyhral skupinu A.
Well, the 24-year-old Komitier will head to the free throw line, where he made his ENBL debut in Game 2 against Bamberg, and wow, what an introduction. Very difficult inserting yourself into a team this late in the season, but he was the man to bring them to the Final Four, hitting that pretty much can call it a buzzer beater to go along with 19 points in Game 2, and they needed every single point as he misses the front end of the 2 attempts. 5:04 remaining here. Go Pass Arena. We're live from Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia, where they play host to the 2025 Final Four. We have 25 international players for the 4 teams. Defoe getting to his signature fadeaway. And if you're new to Defoe's game, that's what he does. The mid-range king, and the Newcastle Eagles go up by 3. Nice ball movement. Corner 3 ball, but Komitier unable to connect. And Money Mike is on the race. Hangs. Great defense there. Great defense just to get both hands up. And it looks like we have an off-ball foul on Darius Defoe. And if that's the case, that will be his second. And the Newcastle Eagles lost their big man, Malcolm Delpeche, earlier, about a month ago, to a knee injury. So Darius Defoe has entered himself into the starting lineup. And besides him, they are very thin in the front court. They do have 6'10" Will Neighbor, who's more of a stretch 5, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets a touch here tonight. But meanwhile, it's all about the defense. The Eagles have really done their homework on Dziki's set so far and making it very difficult as Yoasar loses it. This time it's Ward Hibbert who gets blocked by Anderson. And that's one thing to keep an eye on that I mentioned earlier, the contrast of teams. Newcastle Eagles love to get out into the races, use that athleticism. They are small, but they are fast. But then Dziki, more technical. And I don't know if the coach would be happy about that inbound defense there, but nevertheless, it gives the Newcastle Eagles a 5-point lead. And in this time, Anderson's called for the offensive foul. And so Dziki is really trying to take advantage of the size, but Newcastle doing a great job of fighting and fronting. And that's the thing, when you try to post up a smaller player, usually you try to prove how strong you are, and a lot of times you get a lot of these calls called on you. But that one there was an offensive foul on the ball screen action. 10-5 as James enters. This time another ball screen foul called on Dziki. And this time it's called on the American Fulkerson. And it looks like we've worked out the technical difficulties. Apologies about that. It was the Polish comms team mixing in with us, but nevertheless, I think we've got it sorted. Well, if you're just joining us, 10-5 here in Slovakia. Game 2 of the Final Four, Game 1. CSO Voluntari punched their ticket barely against Inter Bratislava. Which one of these teams will join them tomorrow night? And Fulkerson says it won't be you, Alan Aikens. And nice finish by Szlachetka. And that's his game. Getting his head down, getting downhill. Christian James showing off the footwork and nice finish, picking off where he left off in Denmark. Had 17 points in the first half there against the Bakken Bears, which ultimately softened the Decifit, as they return home, and ultimately was able to take care of business over 2 matches. Newcastle Eagle thus far doing a great job of matching the physicality of the larger personnel for Dziki. Szlachetka. This time they go inside the Fulkerson, and James pulls the chair, and he gets the call. And right now, the offense of Dziki Warsaw is discombobulated as they're looking for a heavy dose of taking advantage of the mismatches inside, but the Newcastle Eagles are backing down. Dziki showing pressure in the backcourt as the captain enters the game. Growski. Alan Aikens. James with the mismatch, skips it over to Seneca. Great extra pass. And bang. Trey Pulliam sticks it. Doesn't shoot many from out there, but when he does, he makes it count. Great aggressive defense by Newcastle. Then Christian James comes up with the loose ball, and there's a foul on Growski. You can see him grabbing the arm of James. And the defense of Newcastle holding Dziki to only 7 points in the first 8 minutes. An incredible start from the team from Great Britain. Officials are reviewing this. Not exactly sure what the review is. Maybe it's a possibly unsportsmanlike foul on Growski. Again, there was nobody back. He's the last man back, so therefore there would be 2 free throws and the ball. You can see it there in the replay that one of the Dziki players just there getting on the line, and it is an unsportsmanlike foul. So Newcastle will head to the free throw line. Christian James for 2 shots and the ball. And the defense has been stifling. Well, a total contrast from game one. Game one, there were nearly 60 points scored in the first quarter, but this game has been about the defenses. The ENBL Final Four is showing you all facets of the game as Chris James makes the first. And again, I mentioned in game one, there's watch parties happening all across the globe. So if you're having a watch party, tag us at ENBL Playoffs on Twitter. Show us what you're working with. And the Newcastle Eagles will have the ball with an opportunity to extend the 10-point lead. Pulliam shakes and bakes, nice hands, but it's a foul on Grohowski, and that's his second, and he's in disbelief. And that's one thing that's worked really well for the Newcastle Eagles in this competition. Most of the teams are very deep with great size. And then the Newcastle Eagles have been able to combat that all season long with speed and quickness, and teams have just had a real hard time adjusting. It's one thing to see it on tape, but it's very unconventional from Europe, and so as you can see, causing Dziki all kind of problems. And Trey Pulliam gets his 6th point of the night. And another offensive foul called on Dziki. Look like the Eagles have gotten into the head. You see it there. By Bender, just extending the arm out, and the Eagles have got the Polish men really confused. James. Back over to Allen Ikens. Plays boomerang with James, rises up, and it rims out. Final minute here, Newcastle 19. Dziki 7. Wesson. Szlachetka drops it off. Nice finish. That's more like it, although it took every inch of the shot clock there as the Eagles decide to slow things down, which may be their final possession of a dream first quarter for the men in white. Allen Ikens unable to come up with it, and the Eagles could have been more patient on that, but Seneca Knight says, hold my beer, as he fades to the corner to get his first field goal of the evening. Seneca at the buzzer. Seneca Knight closes out the first quarter. The Newcastle Eagles have got the party started in Slovakia. What a start. 23-9, all Eagles, and it's been about that defense. The tenacious, aggressive defense all quarter. Well, welcome back to Go Pass Arena here in Bratislava, Slovakia. As you see your first quarter stats there. And the median's out. is look at that bottom row. 0 turnovers for Newcastle. Meanwhile, 8 for Dziki, which have turned into 9 points for the Newcastle Eagles. Coach Mark Studel in his 3rd year at the helm for the Newcastle Eagles, picking up a domestic trophy back in January. Looking for more. Well, again, I mentioned before, the game 1 was all about the offense. Over 200 points scored. And this one, we'll be lucky if we clip 150, which seems as though it will work in Newcastle Eagles' hand at the moment. Knight off a double. Pulliam, the Eagles leading score in that first quarter, gets to a little shake and bake, flips it up with the right hand, comes up short. Dziki gets their stop. Back inside. Fulkerson. Wesson gets to the rim. And he's fouled. As Wesson looks to go up strong. And that foul will be on Seneca Knight as he made a business decision there at the last second to move out the way. But unfortunately, made contact with Wesson. Dziki currently 1 for 5 from the free throw line. Wesson really solid in that 2-game stretch against the Germans, averaging 11 points. Was probably the most consistent player in that quarterfinal. Cole Long. And Mo Cross immediately puts his hands up as he got his hand in the cookie jar and got caught. Pulliam, who's been a fantastic asset in the European Northern Basketball League. But Knight unable to convert. 23-10, 8:45 here in the second quarter in the ENBL Final Four. One of these teams will be playing for a championship tomorrow night. And Dziki still cold from beyond the arc. James taking advantage of the mismatch. Coach Shablowski looks in disbelief. Currently no answer for the Newcastle Eagles. Kromither. Back over to Fulkerson, and is blocked. Would seem as though it was blocked by Seneca Knight, as he's asking to go look at the replay. It looked clean from my angle, but let's take a look. Couldn't quite see it from there, but that will give Seneca his second foul of the evening. So the Eagles in a little bit of a foul conundrum. Darius Defoe and Seneca Knight both with 2 fouls. I already mentioned before, of the short roster. And right now, Dziki is just all out of sorts. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 2 for 9 from the free throw line. To go along with 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. Hence why the Eagles sit with a 15-point lead. Allen Aikens runs out of real estate. And just the patience there, just the way to the defense to desert. And he's able to finish, and Coach Shablowski has seen enough.
Let's go, we have to be more physical. Let's go. Nico, we go zip one this way. First of all, guys, we have to fight. This way, Andre, you are here. Then when you go, when you got the ball, Mati, you can use handoff option. And then attack. After handoff to the right, roll. You got Andre open here on the single side back. Be aggressive on offense, come on. Dziki, then you go here.
Well, the takeaway from that timeout from Coach Shablowski was one word: fight. And be more aggressive. But right now, they look discombobulated. And that's all to do with the Newcastle Eagles defense. As you can tell, it's very obvious that they've done their homework. As they show a little bit pressure, Dziki able to handle it. And Christian James nearly pokes it away. And again, the Eagles doing a great job of blowing up all of these sets from Dziki. 8 seconds on the clock. They have to go. They leave Anderson in the corner. And again, 0 from beyond the arc for the evening. 27-10. Eagles looking for more. Pulliam. Cole Long spins away. Finds a shooter. Josh Ward Hibbert to be exact. And the Newcastle Eagles are up by 20. And Ward Hibbert says, I'm not done, as he looks to get a steal in the backcourt. And Coach Mark Studel gives his team a round of applause. I'm sure along with all the fans that's watching as well in England. What a start. (30-10). 14 minutes gone in this matchup. Radicevic. He can't get it going. Kromithier able to settle the troops. You can see the nerves on Coach's faces. Pulliam. Great extra pass again by the Eagles. And travel. I believe if Christian James had that again, he'd just shoot that one with the extra pass and ball movement. The work was already done. Can Dziki get a little momentum here? This time it's James gambling, and it's Kromithier who's able to put him to the sword, and Coach Mark Studel calls for time as Dziki's on a 5-0 run and hit their first three-pointer of the night.
I can't pick him up full court if he gets one outlet pass and he's running right behind me. But that's what's frustrating me the last 3 possessions. Okay, like we're playing great, and now we lose focus on the defensive side. Last 3, okay? We got to tidy up down there. And if he's full court, like we're talking, whatever's fine, make sure that we're up in the gaps. If he's full court, next man in the gaps. And if he goes yours and you're peeling off, okay? It's all 5 of us when we're keeping the ball out of his hands. Hey, my reset, we got to be better on the defensive end. That's their only run, okay? Hey, coming out here, let me have fist up all the way through at pace, okay? Mike, Deshaun, Cole, let me have Josh, let me have Chris, okay? Fist up. Remember, as he's peeling off, the DHO can be high. DHO can be high. Look to set it and slip right down here, okay? Fist up. All world, all world. Hey,
Well, great insight. All Final Four as we give you access to the huddles as Newcastle looks to run fist up. And if you're just new to basketball, DHO stands for dribble handoff action, so keep your eye on that. But most importantly, the message of that timeout was about defense fundamentals. The gamble by James, the offensive rebound by Dziki. He was saying how they've been firm all game. Don't lose the fundamental battle. It's a long ball game. Karu returns to the lineup. Cole Long loses his footing. Shot clock down to 5. Eagles nowhere to go, and great defense by Dziki. And this time it's Anderson. And all of a sudden, Warsaw's on a run. 7-0 to be exact. Karu showing off that great first step. Just elite off the dribble. Yoisar over to Kromitter, and Kromitter having himself a ball game has woken up Warsaw. Ten early points for Elijah as James is fouled. That's the second foul on Kromitter. And let's see if Coach Shablowski rolls the dice. Looks like he will decide to do so. And at this point, why not? Christian James, as I mentioned in game 1, former teammates with MVP Isaiah Cousins, who had a ENBL record, 36 points in game 1, both featured in the Final Four in 2016 for the Sooners. Eagles 34, Dziki 19. Radicevic still looking for his first bucket of the night. And that's the defense that Mark Studel was talking about in the timeout. Just stand solid. Great close out there by Karu. And then a great job by Cole Long, not allowing the offensive rebound. And Kromitter really upset there on the bench as he'll take a seat with 2 fouls. 4:20 remaining, 34-19. It's been all Eagles except for the last 3 minutes as Dziki is woken up. 9 on the clock. Ward Hibbert, nowhere to go. Micah Karu has to let it go here. Great defense there. And great defense by Darius Defoe. It looked like Ward Hibbert just a little bit out of control, and Newcastle really gambling on that possession there, but do a good job of getting back. Referees really allowing the players to play and be aggressive on the ball. You gotta love that if you're a basketball connoisseur. This is what the playoffs is all about, the physicality. Everything goes up a notch. As Ward Hibbert hits the front of the rim from the corner. Again, Eagles doing a great job of getting back in transition. And Darius Defoe will pick up his third foul. And that will be his quarter over. Again, just get locked up with Fulkerson. Great job by Fulkerson to stay within the play. And he'll go to the line for two. Fulkerson, only a 43% free throw shooter. Played his college ball at Tennessee, where he played there for 6 seasons. He's able to capitalize on both, and Dziki doing a great job of just slowly grinding themselves back into this one before the half. And anything under 10 points would be a win for the men in red. This time is Allen Aikens. Great hands there by Fulkerson. Long. And the Newcastle Eagles offense is beginning to dry up. Only 11 points so far this quarter. And Fulkerson left all alone. We have a ball game as Dziki able to chip into this lead. Warsaw's defense really starting to settle in, but Pulliam sticks it. Pulliam with 7 points on the evening. Eagles with 15 points off the bench. Wesson, this time going back to Fulkerson. Yoisar drives the baseline, little up and under. Beautiful move by Yanari Yosar. Yosar, the squad's leading scorer. Terrific double-double against the Germans in the quarterfinals. Didn't feature in game 2. And Allen Aikens comes up empty. Not a great possession for the Eagles. As we enter the final 70 seconds of this half. Yoisar again, this time cut off. Szlachetka, nice little bounce pass to Fulkerson. Beautiful offense by Dziki. Men in red are beginning to click on the offensive end. Meanwhile, the Eagles' offense beginning to dry up, but nice little hezzy there by Pulliam. Getting it done, leading all Eagles scores with his 9th point of the evening. Eagles go up by 11. Cole Long looking for the steal. Comes up empty, and that'll give him his 2nd personal foul. Again, in the second half, you got to keep an eye on the Eagles' foul trouble. Mentioned it before. Really short bench there when you compare it to Dziki. So they don't have the bodies to be gambling in the passing lanes. Szlachetka. Skips, flips it up, great D. But again, look who's on the end of it. The American Fulkerson. Really stepping up. Pushed in the back there from Micah Karu. And Fulkerson didn't start the season, as they had another big man in McFlynn who was terrific for Dziki and earned himself a contract in top-level Greece, which made room for Fulkerson. who's now gone 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Give him 8 points on the evening. And for the first time in a very long time, we're within 10 points as we enter the final 10 seconds of the half. As Trey Pulliam looks to skip through the defense, and he's fouled. Pulliam only played 2 games for the Eagles in this competition, but averaging 13.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 5 assists a game.
Hey, look, they've got fouls to give, so be smart here. Like, if you look like the foul, get into your shooting motion, because they got 1 to give, okay? Be smart. We're in our slice 4, but we're starting this way. Chris, you got the ball out. Deshaun, you're on the up screen, okay? Trey, you're going through, all right? Deshaun, you got to get open, okay? Here. Trey, as soon as you're here, you look like you're going straight on the back pick. Mike, open. Josh in the corner, okay? And as soon as you give rid, Chris, use it. Deshaun here, okay? So, Chris, bump it. Maybe Chris is open or Deshaun on the slip. That makes sense? They maybe try and take foul after about 2-3 seconds. If they do, we go straight back to it the next possession, okay?
That's not here, right?
Yeah, you're here. So you rip here, then you look like you're going back screen, but Chris is bumping it. Shot ready. Shot ready. Let's go.
Well, great dialogue in that timeout for Coach Studel, recognizing game situation, as Dziki does have a foul to give. So he was mentioning that the Eagles get up into their shooting motion, which last season they were terrific at, specifically Jordan Johnson and, ironically, Dziki's former guard, Ricky McGill, were great at kind of throwing the ball at the rim once they hear the whistle. And great execution there as Allen Ikens is pushed in the back, and he will go to the line for 2. You see Radicevic just kind of getting his hand there, and he's in disbelief. But Allen Ikens, rookie out of North Dakota, averaging 13.7, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists a game for the Eagles as he knocks down both. And Newcastle, well, before that, Dziki will take a timeout of their own and try to draw something up for the final 2 seconds. Again, you see the traveling fans of Dziki behind the bench there. And then also you can hear the Eagles fans behind their bench, which looks like a huge traveling party there.
Try to do something like this. Grzegorz Szlachta. Grzegorz, you start, but you start together. Jarek is here, Andre is here. So, Grzegorz, you start ball side, Szlachta, you start ball side. But Andre, you set a screen for Jarek. They may switch it or maybe not, but you just screen. When he passes you, you sprint. Try to seek him for a pass. If it's not open, hit one of the guys and we just finish the quarter, all right? Dziki!
Really loving this inside access huddle for the final 4, as this action looks to be headed to Andre Wesson, number 55. Not a lot of clock to work with, so let's see what they've drawn up here. They'll go for the half-court heave instead, and that will close the deal. First 20 minutes, Newcastle Eagles strikes first as they take an 11-point advantage into the locker room. And I would say 1 shoestring into the final, but after game 1, you can take all of that off the table. Make sure you come back and join us for a fascinating 20 minutes of ENBL playoff basketball. Well, welcome back to Go Pass Arena as the Newcastle Eagles lead 40-29. And as they sit with 28 British titles, none is bigger than tonight, with an opportunity to punch their ticket to the ENBL finals tomorrow night versus CSO Voluntari. But Dziki, Warszawa, and Fulkerson are going to have a lot to say about it in this next 20 minutes as a potential Group A clash in the championship tomorrow, regardless of who goes through. But right out the gate, Kromithir with a beautiful set from Dziki. Seneca Knight, who had to sit with early foul trouble. Cole Long gets his first clean look of the night, unable to cash in as he gets the start for the second half, 0 for 2 on the evening, as Coach Studel looks to get him going. Fulkerson, the lefty, who had a terrific first half with 8 points, as the Newcastle Eagles turn it over. Eagles going for the home run hit there, and not the wise of decisions from Micah Karu. Dziki down 9 points with an opportunity to eat into this lead. I think you can describe the first half as a complete debacle as they look out to come out with some more aggression to start the half. Micah Karu, the fastest man in the building, goes straight at Fulkerson's chest, comes up empty. Kromithir, who got everything going for Dziki, but this time ends in and out. Seneca. Nice little fade turn. Dziki rebounds. Kromithir gets his mismatch. Karu recovers. Radicevic. Dump pass into Anderson. Unable to come up with it. And Seneca Knight sacrificing the body, getting on the floor. But we'll stay here. Great hustle by Newcastle. Again, those are the type of plays that's required if you're going to be playing at 8:30 local time tomorrow evening. You got to win the 50-50 battle. You got to get the loose balls. It's important that you can sacrifice your body. And Anderson this time is fouled by Darius Defoe, and that will be his 4th foul of the evening. Again, just a little bit too close, and we've seen that call, specifically in game 1, called pretty consistently. You gotta allow the shooter space to land, and the 21-year veteran heads to the bench in frustration. And Anderson cashes it in. Denzel Anderson, 73% over the course of the ENBL season, gets both. And more than likely, Defoe will be sat for most of this game As Cole Long again unable to answer, and Radicevic able to skip his way in the lane, and this time he's fouled and will go to the line for 2. And the Eagles have come out this half cold offensively and not the same intensity and grit defensively, or shall I say smarts, as the first one rolls out and the Newcastle Eagles fans starts their chant as Nikola Radicevic makes the second. 6-point lead for Newcastle. Again, just need to settle the troops. And the fastest man in the building, again, Micah Karu strongholds his way to the rim. Mike with 6 points on the evening. And they've done a great job on Radicevic. Just taking away all of his passing angles, eliminating the scoring, and he only has 1 point on the evening. The former NBA draftee, Wesson, this time it goes into Fulkerson, and again, he's fouled, and Micah Karu is begging for it as Seneca Knight is on 2. And that foul will be on Seneca Knight. And the Newcastle Eagles are in a heap of trouble as Darius Defoe with 4 fouls, Seneca Knight with 3, and Mark Studel was forced to go to his bench. John Fulkerson with a solid 8 points in the first half. Misses his first free throw of the evening. Seven-point ball game. Alan Aikens looking to go inside to James. They love to give James post touch, probably their best post-up offensive player. And he will be fouled as the shot clock expires, and depending on where his feet were, that will be 3 free throws for Christian James as the Eagles get bailed out on that possession. And that did look like a 3-point shot there from James, and as Anderson looks to plead his case, as Cole Long heads to the bench. Christian James, who's played all over the world, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Uruguay, Venezuela, and now the United Kingdom, averaging 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. A great midseason acquisition for the Eagles. Fans looking on nervously, just along with every watch party across the world, as they look to see their team playing in the big show tomorrow night. James knocks down all 3. Eagles back up 10. Promethea, who had the hot hand in the first half, disconnects with the 3, and we have a loose ball foul again on the Eagles on the block out on Fulkerson. And Fulkerson has just been a handful for the Eagles all evening. This time is on Alan Aikens, and Alan Aikens just needed to put a body on him. You saw Josh Ward-Hibbert boxing out the bigger Anderson. Promethea from the baseline, and he comes up well short, and James fights for it. Jump ball. And 35 points in 24 minutes for Dziki. Trey Pulliam. Back in the post to James. DHO with Pulliam. Shot clock down at 8. Allen Aikens with the mismatch. Tries to weasel himself around Fulkerson. Comes up short. Dziki pushing the pace. Great ball movement there. Radicevic. And he's short. Just a lid on the basket for Dziki. Only 1 for 12 from beyond the arc as Fulkerson coughs it up. Eagles must continue to use that pace, but they can't afford turnovers as Micah Karu draws a jump ball with Shalahetka, but we'll stay here as Eagles got the last jump ball, but great hands there by Micah Karu. Shalahetka, one of Dziki's better slashers, but only with 2 points here tonight. Pretty much everyone besides Promethea and Fulkerson just really struggling tonight. But that's one guy you don't want to leave open as Yoisar buries it. Allen Aikens again trying to go with the one-on-one matchup. Pulliam, clock at 3, turns it over. You can feel in this third quarter, it feels like the Eagles are just trying to hold on for dear life while Dziki is trying to make a run at it and they can't get anything to fall. But being in this position before, coaches always say, do what got you here. So if you're Newcastle, what got them here in the first half was the tenacious defense. They have to continue digging out stops and can't go under the screens of Yoisar and James, able to dodge a bullet there. Karu unable to get going here tonight. Eagles leading score. The James inside the Ward Hibbert, but it's blocked. Karu's fouled on the pass. Dziki only 1 foul this quarter, but look at that block. Great help side defense by Dziki's best player over the course of this competition. And Ward Hibbert will take a seat as Cole Long returns. Long scoreless on the night, looking to get going. And Mike can't cash it in. Here goes Radicevic. Back inside to Yoisar and count the bucket as he's fouled by Pulliam. Great move there, spinning off of Pulliam and then able to take the contact and finish through, and Dziki all of a sudden with an opportunity to pull within 4. After being down by 20 points, they do. What a quarter for Dziki so far, holding the Eagles to only 5 points so far this quarter. And James, much needed bucket. Big shot. Schletka back over to Yoisar, who's had the hot hand here late. 6 on the clock. Schletka looking to get downhill. Blocked by Cole Long. And how many times have we seen Long? A very, very underrated defender, as the Eagles are able to draw a shot clock violation. Great defense. (48-41). Eagles been in control all night. James, who hit the possession before, can't finish. Cole Long, and he's fouled off the dribble. Again, Dziki, plenty fouls to give, so it'll be a sideline out of bounds. It feels that every single possession holds so much weight. Studel rolling the dice with Seneca Knight as he returns. Long with the step back. Buries it, Cole Long with his first bucket of the evening. And Coach Slabowski calls a timeout as the Eagles are on a 6-0 run. Big time bucket from Cole Long.
Guys, we got one foul to give. So you have to be more aggressive. Don't just jump. Make him drive. You think who was the here? You think you jumped, he will attack? Make him drive. Close out chest to chest, all right? Guys, do things properly. I want you to be better. And I want this situation won't happen again. Now we are switching everything in defense. Okay? Won't do fouls, but make them, switching everything.
Yeah, but do we blame down defense?
Yes, in the mismatch situation, down defense. And switch off balls, like matchup, switch everything, all right? And we play. Let's go. Let's play. 3 side, one more time with Jay. But now you are 5, so you set the back screen for Nico, flare screen for Jay. One more time. Dziki.
Take another look at this. Over the outstretched hands, Cole Long. Well, the takeaway out of that timeout, as Dziki has decided to switch everything and keep an eye on the matchups. Newcastle have already been targeting matchups on the perimeter, so this is when you will see guys like Pulliam and Seneca Knight looking to take advantage of the bigger players. As Anderson nearly loses it, but somehow flips it in. 8-point ball game. There goes your switch. And that's the issue in switching everything, is that you put yourself in a very vulnerable position on a team like the Eagles, who already like to run and gun and play one-on-one and take advantage of mismatches. Skip pass out to Wesson. Nowhere to go. Promethier. Shot clock winding down. And again, a call on the shooter. Coach Studel asking for review, but again, I've watched both of these games and the referees have consistently called this. But it looks as though Pulliam was walking away. He didn't actually fall in the landing space, so I'm not sure if they called it on the arm or what specifically the call was, but for Dziki, I'm sure they can care less. Kromithyr was the hero there in Germany. I mean, just a tough bucket under a very, very tough circumstances to will his team to victory after blowing a 21-point lead. Well, this time they're on the opposite end of things, as they were down 20 in the first half, but now find themselves down by 7. Both teams going back and forth in this last 5 minutes. Switch on James. Looks to get things cleared out. Spins, but loses it. This time, the switching defense of Dziki stands up. (53-46), 1:20 remaining. Anderson gets bottled up. Nice cut from Szlachetka. And Szlachetka is terrific at off-ball cuts. That's what he does. Just a beautiful, timely cut there. Hit in stride, and the ball hit the backboard first, which results in a goaltend. Seneca Knight travels. And so the Newcastle Eagles 1-on-1 offense has dried up these last 2 possessions. And at some point, you think Akaru and Knight, the top 2 leading scorers for the Eagles, offense will wake up. 10 points combined. And there goes your offensive foul. This time on Mocross. Again, easy call. Mocross just bulldozes himself into Seneca Knight, and along with the landing space 3-point foul, again, the refs have been very consistent with that call as well. Have done a terrific job today. Both games being consistent. Mike Akaru. Aaron Ikens. Poked away. Again, shot clock getting low for Eagles. Mike rises up and just can't get it going. Akaru, leading score, only 6 points, 2 for 8 for the night. But you gotta like your chances if you're up by 5 with your 2 leading scorers having off nights. And that looked like a push-off by Kromithyr. 2 seconds on the clock. James goes for the Hail Mary and nearly cashes in, and that will do it. 30 minutes of action, and it leads us here. The Newcastle Eagles with a 5-point lead, 10 minutes away for making history for that organization in their second year in the ENBL. Just missed out on the playoffs. Well, excuse me, they lost the home and away to Bakken for a trip to the Final Four last year. While Dziki, in their first season in the ENBL. for the 10 and final minutes of 80 minutes of basketball. Half the puzzle has been put in place, and the CSO Voluntari escapes the late rally from Bratislava to join them for the party. Will it be the Newcastle Eagles or the Dziki Warsaw? See the stats there, 2 for 14 from beyond the arc. Newcastle no better, 4 for 19. The way that this game is trending, I sense this one will be coming down to the buzzer. And here we are. Final 10 minutes here for the final four as Cole Long starts to get things started for the Newcastle Eagles, and they go up 8. Cole Long with 6 points in this quarter. And Dziki still cold as ice from beyond the arc. Micah Karu, extra pass. James, Long. I'm telling you, that Newcastle watch party would have jumped out of their seats had Cole Long was able to connect with that one. This game has been all about the defense, while game one was about that offense. Great tip there by Yoisar, and that might be an unsportsmanlike foul on Mo Cross. I'm sure of it. And that was just a frustration call. Foul there, excuse me. Maybe the ref saw it different. Maybe the left arm was going for the ball first, but nevertheless, Eagles ball. Akaru. And count the bucket. Money Mike cashes in. Foul on Kromitir. Trying to draw the charge there, not quite squared up. Looking for a bailout. And Micah Karu, who's seen his struggles all evening long, I mentioned it. 12 total points from Akaru and Knight, and the Newcastle Eagles leading. I think you would be happy with that if you're an Eagles fan. And Micah Karu pushes the lead up to 9. 8:40 remaining. Will it be Newcastle? Or will Dziki make a last run at it? Offense has been non-existent here all game. Schletka, not known for his three-point prowess, but this time able to connect. Eight-point game. Micah Karu answers right back. 6 straight points for Moneyman. Eagles back up 11. Mo Cross. Off glass. Both teams starting to wake up in this fourth quarter. Micah Karu gets his mismatch. They go to a boomerang action right here. Going at Anderson, runs out of real estate, and I think it might have been deflected. I think Micah Karu, you gotta back it back out and work Anderson into space as opposed to drive into the crowd there. Looking to get to a strong hand. You see it there. 4 extra bodies on the right side of the floor. 6 on the clock. Allen Aikens. Tough finish by Deshaun Allen Aikens, who wills himself to the rim. Lead back up to 11. Radicevic. Yoisar showing the great first step. Nearly cashes it in. And Yanari Yoisar has a great first step attacking closeout corners. 77% from the free throw line as Wesson checks back in. Yoisar making his way from the Estonia national, averaging 12 points, 4 rebounds. Again, game 1 against the Germans was terrific as he misses the second. Lead at 10. Karu again turns it over. Radicevic nowhere to go. Schletka, and they decide to slow things down as they go to a ball screen action. That foul on Christian James, his first. Schletka, you see them going under the screen, not known for his 3-ball, and the Eagles sticking to the scout report, and it pays off. Micah Karu, whose offense has woken up here in this 4th quarter, but airballs that one. Eagles come up empty-handed the last 2 possessions, but Cole Long comes up with the goods. Off the center, good night, he takes the foul. Eagles doing what they do best, getting out in transition. Great read there by Long. Seneca makes his first trip to the free throw line. We have a timeout.
Come on, Nico, let's go. So, now the switching is okay, but communicate. You made one mistake, the score is like this, so we cannot make mistake that 2 players stay with 1 guy, all right? Communicate and switch it. And it is okay when we are doing this properly. Then, sprint, and we got this quick fist-up play, but to attack is Andre Denzel, but every time roll when you swing the ball. One of you, Andre, same roll and attack, all right? But now, we go with, let's use our 40 also. Denzel, you are here every 4 plays, all right? And let's use okay, so let's use 41. You pass, Nico. You cut. For Schlachta, you are here, Butch. Here is Andre. Get open. Play top ball screen, keep spacing. All right?
Spread out, guys. Spread out.
And guys, then, I want you to play full court defense. With strapping also. Risk a little bit. Dziki, risk a little bit.
Micah Karu finally able to get his offense going in the 4th quarter. But Coach Soblowski satisfied with the switching, but just wants a little communication. Seneca Knight, the American from Lafayette, Louisiana, played his first pro season with Valmira Glass last year, where he was the ENBL leading scorer. And what a turnaround. Last year, 0 wins, 0 for 8. And now 6 minutes away from the championship game. And the Eagles go up 12. Radicevic drawing the foul on Ward Hibbert. And what a job they've done on the former NBA second-round pick. Only 1 point here tonight, and Wesson finally gets his first field goal of the evening. Eagles defense against Dziki's stars have been nothing short of amazing this evening. But they got 5 minutes to keep it going. And Deshaun Allen-Aikens sticks it from the corner. Big time shot. Promethier answers right back at you. That's one of those shots from Promethier that it's a no, yes. And Seneca Knight just out of control in that possession. And Trey Pulliam, the Eagles' lonesome point guard, returns, but before that, Coach Mark Studel calls for time. Let's get inside the huddle.
Hey, we're kind of in two-side here from the side, okay? Josh, you got the ball out. Deshaun, Cole, Trey, use it. As soon as he's getting the ball, you're using them, okay? Right here, yes? Okay, you getting the ball. Josh, you're going all the way through, okay? Trey's here. Josh, you're then going back through, and then you're in two-side action. Dead simple. Yeah, okay. So you're inbounding, then it's regular two-side. Cole spacing. Josh, you're here. Deshaun, Josh is on the back cut, and then Deshaun, you're putting Chris in the action. It's regular two-side. Yeah, we're running it right here, okay? But we got time. We got 13 seconds. We got a load of time. Come and get the ball, okay? Let's go. Count to three. Let's go. You're right here.
Take a look at this big-time bucket by Deshaun Allen-Aikens. And then right back at you from Elijah Promethier. Eagles with 13 seconds on the shot clock. Looking for Allen-Aikens and Christian James to be on the end of this action. Seconds remaining. Pulling. Got his mismatch. Lil Hezo gets in the paint, hangs, and gets his own rebound. As he pulls to double figures with 11 on the evening. Eagles up 12, 4:40 remaining in this one. And we have an offensive call on Szlachetka. And you see the left arm there, ref's right on top of it. And Szlachetka will go have a seat. And I mean, nothing has worked for Dziki all evening. Eagles caught up in a backcourt violation, somehow escapes it. Allen-Aikens pump fakes, gets the defender in the air and count the bucket. Deshaun Allen-Aikens. What a turn of events. Look at the patience there from the rookie. Able to take the contact from Yoisar and finish right through. And if you would have told Coach Mark Studel that you'd be up by 14 points with 4:20 to remain, he'd ask how much it cost. And the Eagles up 15. 420 for joining the party with Voluntari tomorrow night for the ENBL Finals. But Promethier isn't going out without a fight as he hits back-to-back triples. And that'll give him a game-high 19. The clock is the Eagles' friend here. But you don't want to play not to lose and get bad possessions. Pulliam stripped by Kromither. 3-on-1 opportunity. And Kromither blows the layup. Radicevic, no. And the Newcastle Eagles and the fans behind the bench are on their feet as they broke up a 3-on-1 opportunity. Is it in the stars? Alan Aikens loses his footing, and that ball will be Dziki. Just a little bit too much there. Not the ideal spot to attack that mismatch. Eagles all night long been running the boomerang before they attack it, which means you pass the ball just to get it back so the defense can loosen up a little bit. Dziki down 12. Kromither, who's been the only consistent thing all evening, again draws another foul from beyond the arc, and this time it's on Pulliam. Yep. I've said it once and I'll say it again. The refs have been calling that all evening long. And the Eagles better hope that empty possession just a few seconds ago doesn't come back to haunt them. And the bright spot for Dziki. Kromither, the hero in the previous round, showing his quality here. Don't blame that on me. 80% from the free throw line. Connects with the second. And he goes 1 for 3, but somehow Dziki's able to come up with it as Wesson attacks. But we'll stay here. Coach Studel asking for rebounds. Game not done yet. If you watched the game before, Bratislava come marching back to overturn a 24-point deficit, ultimately taking the lead, but Cody Justice being the hero in that one, and this time it's Anderson. Game down to single figures. Eagles nearly turn it over again, but the bigger question is there's 17 seconds on the shot clock, which means they only got a second, 1.7 seconds to be exact, to get it over half court. And if Dziki is somehow able to get out of this jam, and wow, Eagles somehow able to squeeze out of that. Again, shot clock winding down. Pulliam, woo! Trey Pulliam with the Kyrie finish. Beautiful lay. And it seems as though Yoisar was hurt on that possession. And Radicevic will look to sub him out. And boy, the Newcastle Eagles are putting the entire European Northern Basketball League on notice that the Super League basketball in England is to be dealt with. And Money Mike able to get the steal in the lay, and the Newcastle Eagles are 2 minutes and 22 seconds away from reaching the ENBL Finals.
One more my mistake, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is my mistake. You just work. I wanted one side of a set play, not from the side. It's me, because you don't play 4 in general, so it's okay. That's fine. Hey guys, what do you want now? Hey? We want this one side to be aggressive to attack with a good cut, Denzel. And Andre, you leave. Watch. Also, this is open. We have to shoot and try to rebound. Or we swing the ball, so Nico, you are always here to shoot or attack the closeout, all right? Move, yeah, be quickly. Or you get a ball and you attack. Then, we want 22 or not? No. We want 11. X. So we trap everywhere. We jump to the ball. If they go here, we trap. If ball is here, guy from the weak side run, and everybody jump, all right? Really? Let's work. Let's work. Let's go. Dziki.
Take another look at that. Eagles getting off to the races. 4 consecutive points to put the lead up to 13. You got to love that by the coach there. Taking accountability there in the huddle. Dziki has to go fast. Wesson, nice strong finish. Eagles nearly turn it over again. Been really sloppy here in the backcourt, but again, continue to dodge bullets. Ward Hibbert, great decision there to turn that shot down. Offensive rebound by Cole Long. And blocked by Anderson. The Newcastle Eagles are on the brink to adding to their already historic history. Already won the trophy competition in January. Cole Long gets bottled up, and Cole Long somehow, some way, finishes with the left hand. And Eagles get the stop. And the Newcastle Eagles up 13 with 1:06 to go. And it seems as though Dziki has waved the white flag. Doesn't elect the foul, not pressuring. And all evening long, as Ward Hibbert comes along on that attempt. And that's been the story of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. 5 for 21 from beyond the arc from Dziki. And the team from Great Britain in the northeast of England with an opportunity to punch their ticket to the final. And that sums up the evening for Dziki Warsaw as we enter the final seconds. And we will have a Group A matchup as the Newcastle Eagles make themselves an entrant to the big dance as they will clash with CSO Voluntari tomorrow night at 8:30 local time and 7:30 GMT. Wow. What a terrific afternoon. Eagles 80, Dziki Warsaw 67, and Mark Studel showing the traveling crowd his appreciation. And I can almost hear the Newcastle Eagles watch party celebrating in the Northeast. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your commentator, Drew Lasker. A pleasure to bring both games to you. Make sure you join us tomorrow night, 5:30 local time. Inter Bratislava will clash with Dziki Warsaw. And there you see it right there. The Newcastle Eagles will be going head to toe with CSO Voluntari at 8:30. We'll see you tomorrow night.
ENBLeague.